it really was a flashback game for me.
Why so?
Because of Coach Bryant. That's what Coach Bryant, we played 3 quarterbacks in every game, and you never knew why he was putting them in. He substituted 66 players in a game. He did, personally, because no assistant coach ever sent anybody across that line. All right? That was the fastest way to lose your job, is to substitute somebody. And he just had that gut feel, and I think Nick had that same thing last night with those young kids.
Well, let's get into that. Bruce Arians here in a coaching conversation on the Rich Eisen Show, brought to you by Man vs. Food. How did you get hooked up with Bear Bryant? Because you're a Virginia Tech guy, right?
My last head coach at 3 was Jimmy Sharp, and he was Coach Bryant's offensive coordinator for 10 years. And Jimmy is basically the man that got me into coaching. I pretty much owe everything to him. I started at Virginia Tech. He went to Mississippi State, called me, put the kid in the car, get a U-Haul and bring your stuff down to Mississippi State. And that led to an opening at Alabama a few years later. We had beaten Alabama at Mississippi State that year for the first time in 45 years.
Okay, so that helped, maybe?
That helped. And Embry Blard, who was a genius, Embry invented the wishbone. I was at state with him when he invented the wing bone, and it was a version of it. We had a great receiver named Marty McDowell. It was really amazing watching Coach Blard put that offense together. And an opportunity came at Alabama, and Coach Bryant hired me.
All right. And what's it like being wet behind the ears in a way as you were with Bear Bryant being the one to tell you what's what? What was that like?
Well,
Bruce?
yeah, I thought I knew everything, you know. I was that young coach, cocky coach on the staff. He just loved to rip my ass. I mean, every day. We'd play the game. You know, how the offensive line play, how the quarterbacks play, how the running backs play. And I'd give him my report. And, did you even watch the film? I mean, this went on for like 5 weeks, and I'd go into his office and, how you want him graded, Coach? Oh, you're doing fine. And it was just a test to see if I was going to keep coming back until he just said, you're good, and it never happened again.
What do you think, Bruce Arians here on the Rich Eisen Show, what do you think he would think of the conversation? Is Nick Saban a greater coach or a more, I guess, legendary coach on the campus of Alabama than Bear Bryant? What would you think of that conversation?
As humble as Coach Bryant was, I don't think he'd get in a conversation. He would let that to us, you know, to everybody else. I know there's a generations of players from the 60s and 70s that are going to argue like hell that Coach Bryant's the best. And the young guys have a right to say Nick's the best.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.